Hey, what's up everybody? Thank you for joining me for another video. Today we are talking about the brand new Twitch reveal that just happened a few hours ago with Bungie, revealing Forsaken is the name of the upcoming DLC, the third installment, DLC related wise, to Destiny 2. It's coming out in September, the fall. This is the big DLC expansion that everyone is hoping is going to save Destiny. This isn't going to be a video whether if I think Forsaken, it's a terrible name by the way, whether or not I think Forsaken is going to be the DLC to save Destiny, but there are a few things that I want to talk about, so we're going to unpack a lot of things here. I want to say thank you. First of all, I want to say thank you to everyone who commented on the last video. So thank you if you left a comment. Thank you if you liked the video, if you liked it, if you disliked it, whether you disliked it, and more importantly, those of you that subscribed, I appreciate it. It lets me know that this is the content that you all would like to see, and I want to make sure that I'm just not putting out this kind of content just to put it out, but more so when I put it out it's because I have something that I think people want to hear and that can add some kind of added value to the topic and everything Destiny related, as that's some of the things that we're talking about here now. So again, if you subbed, if you commented, if you liked the video, if you disliked the video, again, thank you, I appreciate it. And so there's gonna be some stuff I want to unpack here, some of which is just looking at, I wanted to make a video about this earlier but I didn't because it seemed like it wouldn't be fulfilling enough, but I think we got enough steak and potatoes to go out and talk about this. I want to talk about Bungie's inability to understand their goodwill and how it's been either tarnished, damaged, or just flat out doesn't exist for a lot of players anymore. For everybody that's out there, when we see these reveals coming out and people start talking about whether or not they're going to buy the DLC, to all the folks out there who are saying, well, it's only X amount of dollars, you guys have to understand, for a lot of people it's not about the money. Like $20 for a DLC isn't everything to everyone. There's a lot of people out there who spend $20 in gas every other day, so I assure you, the money, it's not about the money. It's about the principle. It's about Bungie's, again, inability to understand that their goodwill is extremely important to gamers, right? I read something not too long ago, and I'm sure many of you have heard about this now. I read something not too long ago. It said, this is back when I think Iron Banner was out. Bungie was charging $10 for an emote. It was like 10 or 20 bucks for an emote, right? And the emote really wasn't anything special. It really wasn't like anything we hadn't seen. It was more of the animated 3D-ish kind of emotes that they were selling. And a lot of people were up in arms about this because it's like, hey, we're trying to get you to understand about a core problem in your game, and every action that you continue to show us just states that you only care about your bottom line. If I'm Bungie and I know the state of my game that it's in right now, I gotta be honest with you, I'm not charging any money for an emote. It's just, it doesn't seem like the right thing to do, right? And we're gonna come back to Bungie's cash grabs, but that was something that it just didn't resonate well with me, and I wanted to talk to you guys about it, but I knew I couldn't just make the video based on that and based on that alone, or at least if I did, it wouldn't be a very lengthy video. So let me know how you guys feel about that in the comments below. I thought that was extremely distasteful, and I thought it was a slap in the face to everyone who has still, despite everything going on with Bungie, continues to support their game, right? Now, the thing that I want to talk about with today's stream, we're talking about Forsaken, and again, I hate that name. I want to know what are some other names that they could have possibly had on the table for this expansion. If you guys were the Bungie team, what would you guys call this new DLC? Let's pretend it's not Forsaken, and we got to come up with a new name. What would you guys call it? But I'm watching the stream, and there were some things that I saw that I thought I want to be careful with my words here because I understand words have power. They sparked a little bit of intrigue. Then there were other things that I kind of saw straight through. So if you've ever watched a Bungie stream before, whenever they're getting ready to roll out a DLC, and the people on the forums, as soon as this stream was over, they were like, "Take my money now! Oh my gosh, this is gonna be great!" I think Kakis and Inkuch had put up a video basically stating like, "This was it, like this is what we've been waiting for," and I'm like, dude, you haven't even played it yet. Go back to almost every Bungie pre-DLC promo video that comes out. They all look amazing. Like Bungie's best-selling product is not the game. It's not the DLCs. It's not the expansion. It's the promo video, because the promo video gets everyone so hyped, and it makes a lot of people, you know, who don't have much between the ears, forget about the last promo video that we had saw and how that DLC turned out. And I would urge everyone, if you're one of these people who saw the stream and you're like ready to throw your money at the TV, or if you're ready to throw your credit card or your debit card at the computer screen, well, let's pull back the reins. Let's think about the Warmind video and how Warmind turned out. Let's go back to the Curse of Osiris promo video, and I would encourage you to remember how Curse of Osiris turned out. All I'm saying is, Bungie, they are very good at coming out with the marketing videos, not so great with the DLC rollouts, right? But while I'm watching this, and I'm gonna put together a mashup of all the things that they said about some DLCs before in the past, because I'm starting, again, if you go back to my other video, I talked about patterns, and how you can if you can recognize patterns. There are certain patterns in Destiny 2 that were very present in Destiny 1, or patterns that were in Destiny 1 that are very present in Destiny 2, right? And they all talk about the dev team, the directors, they all talk about the upcoming release in a certain way, right? And I want you guys to hear it, and I'm not gonna try and like manipulate. I'm just gonna take it as is from each video, and I want you to see if you can spot, you know, the nuances where it's like, okay, yeah, I do sense a common theme here. And then again, just remember, how have those DLCs played out? Okay. But while I was watching this, yeah, there were some things that I thought were, you know, they sparked a very, very small amount of intrigue. And I don't mean like intrigue like I'm gonna go out and pre-order this thing, because when you look at the price tag on it for what they're prepared to give you, again, it's not about the money, it's about the goodwill that's diminishing in the eyes of the players, right? So I was looking at this, and you know, they said, okay, well, the opening sets in a prison break on the Reef or in the Prison of Elders. And I thought to myself, I said, all the directions we could have went with this major expansion, it would have been the perfect time to introduce a new race, perfect time to introduce new enemies, perfect time to take the story in any direction, and yet we have a prison break. First of all, I didn't even know Cade was like this space cop, you know, type character. Like I had no idea. If you guys knew, put it in the comment section below. Again, Destiny 1, like, the lore wasn't really in the game. Destiny 2, haven't invested a whole lot of time there, so if they put that in the game, I totally missed it. But I don't know anyone that knew that Cade was like some space cop locking up space criminals. Maybe it's me, maybe it's not. So apparently all these criminals that Cade has locked up are now free. And questions I have, one, again, of all the directions we could have went, we chose prison break. Or we didn't, they did. They chose prison break. Second question, how did they get out? Not that I care, I just feel like it's a fitting question to ask. Okay. Third question, is this content that was originally content in Destiny 1 ripped out of Destiny 1 and brought to Destiny 2? And here's why I asked that. We haven't had anything to do with the Reef. There's been nothing significant about the Reef from after House of Wolves till now. That's literally 1 DLC, 2 DLCs. That's like 4 DLCs and a game later, and now we're going back to the Reef. Why? We had Rise of Iron, we had the Taken King, then we had Destiny 2, or Taken King, Rise of Iron, Destiny 2, Curse of Osiris, Warmind. Now we've got Forsaken. So 6 DLCs and a whole game later. Now we're going back to the Reef. It just feels like it's out of the blue, like it doesn't really fit. We still don't know who the folks were in the Triangle ships. And if you go back on the forums, everyone, how they didn't follow that up in Curse of Osiris, they were like, oh, just wait for the big DLC in the fall. They're gonna go over it, which goes to prove my point and everybody else's, point who says this is people, we really don't know shit. We don't know what we don't know. So the speculating doesn't really do anyone any good because we don't know. Which is the point I was making in my other video. The storyline of Destiny does not follow this linear path. It's like, we're over here, then we're over here, then we're down here, then we're over there, then we're over here, then it's Cade's a space cop. And we have to, and if you paid attention to the way that they shot it, there was a close-up on, it might have been a hunter on his boot, and the boot on the back had a spur. So it's like you're like this new sheriff in town, and you're gonna rile up all these criminals and put them back in the poke. And it's like, this is where we're at. This is where we're at. We're teaming up with Cade's cheesy self, and we get to play space cop and space cop deputy, and try and corral all the prisoners around and relock them up. And then when it cuts to this new faction of enemies that we're supposed to get, when you look at it, they're nothing more than Fallen. It's a fusion between Fallen and Hive Thrall. And if you think I'm joking, I'm gonna leave, if I remember, I'm gonna put it in this video, but I'm also gonna leave a link to my Twitter, or the Twitter that I got it from, Disgruntled Ghost, so you guys can see this. They have the same mouth as Fallen, the same bone plate structure as Thrall. They've got the same feet as Fallen, the same hands as Thrall, and they've got the same deformities as ogres. Everyone said DLC fall 2018 we're getting new enemies. These are not new enemies. I remember, if you go back and you look at I think it was Destiny 1, the Crota helmet for the Titan, and Taken King, it was literally the same helmet for the Titan. They just put a giant ram's, or rhino's horn on the front. And if you toggle between both helmets, you can literally see that the dimensions are the same. They just added that rhino's helmet. It's classic Bungie. It's reskin. It's reskin. My last video I said we want new enemies. We deserve new enemies. Can we get new enemies? They roll this out and it's like, no, it's kind of a reskin of the same enemies. If you go back and you watch that last video I did, there are certain points where it's like you just can't argue with them. I told you in the last video, the Bungie Destiny Summit was a dog and pony show. If you follow the timeline, it's very clear that's exactly what it was. Because Bungie is one of these companies where they take, listen, it takes them 8 hours. They have to leave their systems on to complete updates or to bring up map, renders so that they can add or take out whatever they need to take out for their updates. Bungie is a ship that turns really, really slow. So you just had the summit, what, a month ago? A month and a half ago? And the stream just came out today, so you expect us to believe all the things that those people brought up in the summit were taken under advisement, implemented, put into the game, and now we're seeing some of that right now in the stream that we saw today for the Forsaken. I refuse to believe it. It was a PR stunt. It was a dog and pony show. Oh, we're going to bring folks in the Destiny community and they're going to tell us what's wrong with the game. And we're going to listen and we're going to implement those changes. No. No. As far as I'm concerned, you cannot trust Bungie. They are incapable of doing the right thing. And again, going back to the point I alluded to just a moment ago, knowing that the current state of their game is, what do they decide to do? Rather than make an investment in the players, they say, we're going to roll out a new annual pass. You're going to pay us a certain amount, and it's going to give you access to everything. All of the headlines I've seen for this annual pass, it's got bad news written all over it. And this is what I'm talking about when I say the goodwill in the eyes of players on Bungie's behalf is diminishing, if not gone. Your game is in a crap state. I was going to curse. The game is in a crap state. Rather than fix it and try and win over your fan base back by giving them something, making an investment in them, you say, we've got this new pricing campaign and we want you to buy the DLC plus an annual pass, or just buy the DLC. But if you don't buy the annual pass, then there's a good chance, again in in Bungie fashion, there's a lot of content and goodies that you're going to be locked out of. And for the people, again, who say, oh, well, you know, it's only $50. Think about it. If you buy the base game and then you buy the season pass and that's $100, and, you know, if you average it out over 20 years, then, you know, it's really nothing at all. It's like, guys, listen, it's not about the money. There comes a point in time when your reputation is so farly bad damaged, you have to make an investment into the people who consume your product. In terms of games, it's the players. If you take your car into a mechanic's garage and they mess something up, they don't make you pay for their mistake. They warranty their work, they fix it, and hopefully that's the only problem that you have and you're able to go down, you know, on the road. Bungie has a history of saying, oh, well, we listened to the players. Oh, we took what the players said under advisement. Oh, we're implementing what the players said. Literally, I can show you clips from Destiny Vanilla to the first DLC to now, where they're saying, you know, we really listened to what the players had to say and, you know, we're implementing. If you are, you're not, but you give that to your players. You don't charge them for it. And again, it's not about the money. It's about warranting your work. Warranting your work. Because you had the opportunity. I always say that we've got this opportunity to insert, fill in the blank. We've got this opportunity to do X, Y, and Z. And they always think they're doing X, Y, and Z, but they fudge it up to epic proportions. And now they want you to buy the DLC that's coming out in the fall because now they claim they fixed their mistakes. You don't cause a fire, then call the fire department to put it out, and then send the fire department an invoice for putting out the fire. It's not how this works. Now, you could do this if you had a solid track record and it's like, listen, guys, we're on schedule to come out with our next expansion. It's going to be huge. We haven't really had any major hiccups throughout the life cycle of the game thus far. Let's roll it out. Here's the price tag. And that's the show. But when you have messed up to the scale that Bungie, Activision, and Destiny have messed up, you need to make an investment in your players, the people who consume your product, to reestablish that goodwill, because without it, you have nothing. Let's say it's 5 million people that play the game. Maybe 500,000 people buy it. The other 4.5 million don't. That ratio doesn't look good. And I get it. I may be talking to a lot of people out there who don't really have too much business insight. They don't understand the ideology behind goodwill, the ideology behind doing the right thing by your customers to keep them happy. But I assure you, for business, goodwill is extremely important. That's something that Bungie needs to learn. I'm going to try and put together this video of them, you know, the compilation of them. Oh, you know, we got the opportunity to really make something great, and you know, we've been listening to what the players have to say, and you know, And I'm gonna let you guys see that. I'm gonna let you guys see how they actually talk about their games DLC before in the past in their promo videos, just so you can see how they talked about it then, how they talked about it now, how it's the same. And I was gonna put video clips in there of people who were, you know, overly hyped about this coming out. And I watched some people's video. I think I watched one from Inkuch or whatever his name is. The acting in that video was supposed to be like a live reaction video. The acting in that video was egregious. It was terrible. I was watching the stream on Twitch, I believe. Actually, I missed it. I had to go back and rewatch it because I thought it was coming on at 1 p.m. Eastern time, and apparently it was 12 because it aired at 9 a.m. Pacific. And I tuned in, and I'm looking at Gothalian's stream on Twitch, and he's just chuckling, he's just ear to ear, and he's like, oh, it's just a, you know, it's good to be excited about things, huh? And I'm like, oh, come on, man. This is what I'm talking about. People who continue to give Bungie a pass. You didn't say anything was wrong with this annual pass thing that they were trying to pull off. It's just, yeah, man, everything's all good. Yeah, it's, you know, it's gonna be great. Guys, you have to be careful about where you're getting your information from, because some of these YouTubers, some of these streamers, they don't have your best interests in mind. I was having a conversation with the gentleman. He actually commented on one of my videos. I need to reply, so if you're watching this, you know who you are. He said people like Gothalian and all these other streamers and YouTubers are a cancer for the game. And I agree wholeheartedly, because they're not being objective about it. What I saw in the Destiny reveal that was like somewhat new is what did I see? I think it was one of the like the raid space. The raid space, it looked, you know, it looked pretty good, right? But when they went on talking about the supers, I was like, this isn't anything. If you paid attention to the progression Destiny was on, so Destiny 1, Titans get flaming hammers. They're literally throwing hammers. Destiny 2 comes out, Warlocks, they get flaming swords. They're literally throwing swords. Again, if you can spot patterns, it was pretty apparent and clear to know that Hunters were going to get another flaming projectile. And they did. Now they have throwing knives. Excuse me. And what did they do with the Titans? Instead of the Fist of Havoc being a one and done like it was in Destiny 1. Actually, I think they brought that back, because now it's in Destiny 2 it was like they'd slam and you could actually roam with it. It was a roaming super. And now I think they're actually bringing it back to a one and done. Except now it's not the fist hitting the ground, it's like the Titan actually diving into the ground. It's weird, man. It's crazy. The one I did like, I thought was really unique, was they brought back, I shouldn't say they brought it back, but it's basically like the Warlocks now, they can what's the word I'm looking for? They can like dematerialize. It's like watching Dragon Ball. That's gonna be pretty cool. So if you pick it up and you're roaming, you know, with the Void Super, where you can literally, you know, dematerialize in and out of enemies, like, that's gonna be pretty cool. But other than that, I mean, that's literally the smallest amount of intrigue. Wouldn't suggest you pre-order it. I would honestly wait for people to play it. It's gonna be at Guardian Con. I'd wait for people to play it, wait for some real solid, objective reviews on it. And I'd even totally go away from the folks that you normally look to getting reviews from when considering buying, because they're not to be trusted. That's all I got right now. I don't want to start, you know, going any more on a rant than I already am. But as always, guys, if you liked the video, like the video. If you disliked it, comment. Let's start a dialogue on it. And subscribe if you haven't already, and if you have, guys, I truly appreciate you. I really do. We're going to be reviewing some other games on this channel. Detroit, we're going to be looking at, again, Anthem if it ever comes out. So we're going to be looking at that. Yeah, guys, comment, rate, subscribe. If there's anything I haven't touched on you guys want to talk about, again, drop it in the comment section below. Let's get a dialogue started, and I will see you guys in the next video. Peace.